Welcome to The Corner. This is a safe space where we can take the traditions of the barbershops and the coffee spots and bring it straight to your block. Now, in the current climate of the world today, it's not safe for us to gather together in person, but the tradition of real talk and honest conversation continues here on The Corner. I'm your host, Chris, and I'd like to introduce you to my esteemed colleagues here on The Corner. We have my man, D-Lo, aka Daniel Lopez.
How's it going, everybody? Shout out Influent. It's going to be fun.
We also have the super producer, Mr. Ayo Cooley, aka With the Grin.
What up, man? What up, y'all? What's going on, brothers?
We have the anomaly, a DJ AMA.
What's happening? What's going on? What's going on? You're doing a fine job reading that intro, brother. Go ahead.
And we also have the man on the wheels of steel, DJ Slim.
What's happening? What's happening? Bringing that New York flavor with a Tennessee spin on it. What's happening?
We appreciate all you fellas being here today. Now, we just like to give a shout out to the station here, So Unique Entertainment. We appreciate being a part of this platform. If you like to see the visuals for The Corner, feel free to visit us on our YouTube channel. Just search for Influent Entertainment on YouTube. It'll bring you straight to us. Also, if you'd like to contact us to submit questions, or if you'd like to be a guest star appearance on The Corner, please reach out to us on our Gmail at influentent@gmail.com. That's NFLUENT@gmail.com. And to keep up with the latest news on Influent Entertainment, feel free to follow us on Instagram at @InfluentENT. Now, fellas, we're going to get into a nice little discussion today, man. Our theme for the night is pre-COVID times, man. So we're going to start taking a look back at things we used to do before COVID, get some nice dialogue going, man. Hope everybody's doing great tonight.
Yeah, man. Chilling.
Sweet. So one thing that I used to love to do in my younger years before COVID came knocking at the door is go to parties and gatherings, man. It was always a nice situation to get together with the brothers and sisters, share laughs, share food, a little dancing, a little game playing, a little drinks, a little fun. But from time to time, that party situation, that gathering situation could go from a good thing to a bad thing every once in a while. So at what point does a party or a gathering go from good, clean fun to trouble?
I'm gonna say when somebody then throws up in the corner of the living room, I think it's time to exit stage left immediately. Yeah.
What if it was just food poisoning?
Yeah. Okay.
You should have gotten better.
That's how they look right.
If it was food poisoning, it's still exit stage left.
The crab dip was just bad. What if that was the case?
Still time to go.
All right, Slim.
I'm a little confused on that statement. I need my mans to clarify. Is it to the point where the person is throwing up? Like who throws up?
In the living room.
In the living room. That's crazy.
Yes, it was super crazy.
Tell us about it.
We was at a gathering. And I don't know what the full situation was. I think the individual, they was going through some things like personally, and they took it upon themselves to
throw up in that corner.
I guess drink away they problems. I guess they just They was going through some things and just let themselves get a little too loose at the party. And they had about one too many. So we sitting in the, I think we were just sitting, talking. We was in the living room talking, chilling. Regular conversation, you know. Oh yeah, you know, how everybody been, blah, blah. Because what it was somebody who had came, they just moved back into town or they had came to town to visit. So everybody was just kind of getting together to, you know, chop it up with them or whatever. And like I said, we in the living room talking, whatever, woo. I look over, this individual they was kind of already stumbling, you know what I mean? They done stumbled over in the back of the corner, went behind the chair. I said, oh, hey, get your bag, it's time to go.
Now that's a party.
Yeah.
So that was you were married when that happened?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay. So that's a little bit more recent.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I said, we own year 8 this year.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Congratulations, man. Yeah. I didn't know y'all was so close behind us, man. Y'all chasing our heels, bro.
Yeah, man. We own.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. That was. I was like, somebody get him.
Whose man's is this?
Yeah, whose man's is this?
Man, I'll tell you what, it's been a couple situations, man. Everything really happened when pre-marriage, showing up at these parties, man. I think my main issue was going to parties where I didn't know who was throwing that joint. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of like, hey, this person's having a party out here. I think every time I went to a party, you know, even if it was a big party, and I knew who was throwing it, you know, I went there, had a good time. Everything was on the up and up. Cause most of the dudes I ran with back then was solid. But I remember, I found out from a solid friend of mine, like he's off serving with Anita's Greater Elder substitute CO right now. So he hit me up and was like, hey man, we gonna go to this party, you know, call the boy Slim, get the gang up, we gonna go out there, turn up. I said, okay, cool. So we head out to this area, East Atlanta. East Atlanta has never really been a good area for us to party. But
I was like, that's where it started. The train started there.
so we rode out to East Atlanta, me, Slim. My wife was with me. She wasn't my wife at the time. Matter of fact, we weren't even dating at the time, just homies. And a couple other people with us. It's like 2 cars of us riding out to the party. So, you know, we start getting close to the party, and I know my boy that invited me, he went ahead of me. And so I'm trying to call him. I'm like, hey, you know, hey, what's going on? Is it lit? You know, trying to call him, and he's not picking up the phone. So that should have been like clue number 1, this joker not picking up the phone. So we pull up in the neighborhood where the party is, and we see cars like just lined. It's a subdivision. Cars lined up and down the subdivision, and we looking around and we're like, oh man, so worldly people must be throwing a party out here too. 2 parties going on the same night. It's crazy. You know, it is Saturday though, you know. So we riding around, and so we have to park and walk to the venue or whatever. So we park and we're walking to the house, and we get up to the house.
How deep are you at this point? How many people?
We like 8 strong, right? So we're 8 strong walking up to the house, and we get to the house, and I say to myself, and then I say out loud, yo, this must be the wrong house. Cause you know, it looked like a Youngbloods video out in front of the house, like baggy pants, long jerseys, dudes holding bottles of liquor.
Yeah, no.
So I'm like, we at the wrong house, right? And so this dude looks up at me, but he not looking at me. He looking at my wife, and he like, hey, yo, May. And she like, Jeremy? What's up? You know, the names have obviously been changed to protect the guilty.
I don't know.
You know, so I was like, oh. I was like, oh, the this is the witness part, the quote unquote witness party. So I'm like, all right, well let's walk through real quick to see what's going on. So I go in and I see another homeboy of mine who's a real spiritual dude in the house, but he's like in a corner by himself looking around, like he Joe there by himself. And I came up to him, I was like, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? He was like, man, I've been waiting for y'all to get here. And I was like, oh, okay. You go through the house, you see what's going on? He's like, yeah. I don't know, man. You tell me what you want to do. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go check it out. So I walk downstairs because I hear the music downstairs. I go downstairs and I run into one of my homegirls downstairs. Now she's been drinking a little bit because she sees me and she does the classic stumble, hey, and
knocked over like 3 things on the way into that.
Pretty much. And I'm like, hey, what's up? How are you? She's like, I'm all right. And I gave her a hug and she's like, you want to dance? And I'm like, yeah, cool. So she takes me onto the dance floor. Now the dance floor is completely dark. And so they playing like a T.I. song. And I'm like, okay, cool. Me and her dancing. And I see a shadowy figure come up behind her. And I'm like, huh. And I just kind of push the shadowy figure away. And we keep dancing. And then I see another shadowy figure come up behind her. I'm like, oh, that's a different shadowy figure. I just kind of push him away too. And then I hear 3 cuss words drop. And I'm like, okay, it's over. We out. I grabbed her.
Time to go.
Walked out, grabbed my other homeboy. And then everybody who was with me, I'm like, everybody who with me, we out of here, Mm-hmm. So we walked out and it's funny. So we get in the car and we're driving away. And my homeboy that I've been calling the whole time that I didn't see in the party, that invited me to it, he calls me back at that moment. Hey, what's going on, man? I see you call me. I'm like, where you at? He like, yeah, man, we got there. The spirit left that joint, man. So we went to the IHOP. Y'all can come over here. So you just gonna waste my time. You not gonna tell me
and give you the heads
that
up.
You abandoned ship at the spirit at the spirit gone party and went somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
That's known as the spirit gone party.
So that's a long way around to say I don't go to no gatherings now if I don't know who hosting that joint. If I don't know who hosting it, if I don't got no real connection to it, because I don't even think he knew who threw the party. It was just like, hey, he found out about the party. He was going to invite his boys. We was all gonna have a good time. But so that's number one for me. I'm not going nowhere where I don't know who throwing the joint.
You might get that answer like, you finally like, I don't know that person. Is he a witness? And then they're like, yeah. And then you're like, no.
he go to the Sunday meetings on Easter.
He goes to the meetings.
What? On Easter?
Right. It's sketchy when they only provide you with the address. That's something sketchy right there. But since my boy Chris went and took a swing at it, I'm gonna go ahead and get the next one. So to answer his question, I would say if it's supposed to be a gathering and they're playing music, and the music is that there's another version that they could play, but they skipped over that one and played the dirty, the nasty, really bad version. I'm gonna give you the experience real quick. Yeah, really bad. The filthy version. You dig what I'm saying?
The version that Jehovah definitively hates.
The one you wouldn't feel comfortable if it came on and you had the elders getting in the car with you going out in field service, and all of a sudden you realize it was on CD mode. Right. So this actually spirals into one of my stories. It's kind of similar to Chris. We got the invite. Hey, on the east side, nothing against, again, but for the friends that are listening that are from east side Atlanta, we got nothing against y'all. I want to first put that out there. We love y'all equally. It's not about location. Just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there. We love y'all all the same. I'm just sharing my experience. So with that being said, we got an invite. Chris was like, yo, we got this party, man. We gotta knock it out, do our thing, get our dance on, our swerve on. We were single at the time, so it was no big. So we go, and this joint is an address in the apartment complex, which is already number one. It's like, that's so.
I remember this one.
So let's count on some of these flags. So the first one is the apartment complex. Now, if anybody knows that hasn't been to parties, you don't party at no apartment complex because you got nosy neighbors, the paper thin walls. It's not a good look. it's really not a good look. I would much rather do a recreation center than the apartment. But we get to this particular apartment, you know what I mean? Again, it's only us that we know that's gonna be there. And so we knock on the door, and as soon as we see who's there, we go, hey, what's going on? We were invited, and they go, oh, come on in. Very friendly gathering. And all of a sudden, we see the guy that's at the door that's letting us in, he has a red cup. Okay, nothing wrong with that. And we see everybody else also has red cups as well, which usually sets the tone for how things go. And there's nothing wrong with having a drink or two, but this is clear. There wasn't a lot of chases on this one. So that was kind of number two. It was like, yeah, I see where this is kind of headed. No board games and nothing else. Everything, the setting was kind of booed up. So the single sisters that were there were apparently being courted by some other younger gentlemen, for lack of a better word, and they were quite close as far as their company goes. So that's already three. But then I hear a particular song, and I'm like, all right, even with those red flags, let's see what the music like. You know what I mean? DJ Slim, the younger years. Let's see what the music like. They play Lil Wayne. Now I know you're gonna feel some kind of way about this, AMA. Lil Wayne's Lollipop song. Now,
flag already. Flag on the play.
That's not. Now the Lollipop song, like I said, it is what it is. If you just listen to if you play it in the background while you shopping, I wouldn't really be like, oh my goodness. But the version that they had was like explicit. It was like, wow. And we as Christians, we always sing along with it kind of in our minds. If we know the song, we like, okay, all right. And he gets to a certain part and we be like, we expecting the, got it. and you think it's gonna go edit. He goes full on, and it's like,
hey yo, Slim, let me cut in right here real quick, just for a brief moment. So let's not act like they just played the song straight through, right? So they played the joint, 2-3 curse words slipped, and he like stopped the joint, and then he was just like, well, just let it ride.
You got a feel for the room, looked around like
he looked around.
He was like,
Might as well finish it.
One more thing that Chris meant to add. So they played it again. Replay. Just in case, he was like, man, did I hear what I think I hear? Maybe I didn't hear what I think I hear. They let that ride out, and then they later played it again, and it was like, y'all like this song.
Yeah. So so another thing about this party, right? So I was in there. We had went to the back. Like, we were only at this party for like 15 minutes. We went to the back. We sat at a table. Our boy Kevin pulled out some cards. So we popped up a spades game in the back. Like, we started a spades game. And we there for like 15 minutes. They run the Lollipop. We looking like, what? And then, so Slim's like, yo, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And then this fine girl walks in. And I was like, give your boy like 20 minutes. And right? So the girl like goes in the kitchen, she's talking to some people. So I go and I stand like by the bar, you know what I'm saying? Because there's like a little bar in the apartment. I stand by the bar and I'm looking back at her. I'm looking back at the sister, and then she sees me looking at her, and so I turn around, right?
Aww.
So I look back again, and I don't see her back. I don't see her back there no more. Yeah. And then I look back up, and she right here next to me, and I'm like, oh, hey,
She horror movie dude.
You're a Phantom. So
What's happening?
I'm like, so I go, hey, how you doing? What's going on? My name Chris. She says, my name is, we're going to change the name to protect the innocent, Layla. My name is Layla. I'm like, how you doing? And she says, I don't know what the is up with you. Insert profanity there.
Well, wait a minute.
And when that happened, your boy was like, I'm finished here. Time to go. I ain't even finished talking.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, y'all. It's time for us to go ahead and roll on out of here. Time to get on out of this thing.
You were like, that was the only reason I stayed anyway, so I'm not here.
For an additional, I was like, just give me like 20 more minutes. I'm gonna get the number, then I'm gonna go. But
she lived in a complex. She wasn't even.
Goodness, she just stopped in.
She lived there. Yeah.
I thought that too until I was at the summer convention, seeing her pull up, and she seen me, and that head dropped.
He was studying.
Like, I know. I know what you is. I know what you be doing. You know what I'm saying?
You said she was a study? Yep, that's what.
Yeah, she old study. She was studying.
So
kiss your mother with that mouth. Kiss your mother with that mouth.
She ain't made it to the Bible teach book yet.
Right.
Yeah, man. So we got.
Those are the signs and symptoms, man.
So we got vomit. We got don't go to a party you ain't invited to, and we got the music. The music gives a clear indication. Yeah. Anything else?
Certain people.
Yes.
Oh,
individuals.
If you see certain people there, you're like, oh dang, this ain't it. This ain't it, and then you gotta leave.
Yeah. When like, how did you get in?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, they let you here? Oh, that's it. We gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
man. Rock the whole beard like we back in the day, Israelites. I get you. It's cool. the whole thing.
I will say this though. The question was about parties and gatherings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a definitive difference between a gathering and a party.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people have tried to change this meaning. For instance, we've been already alluded to it here. Like, an apartment cannot be a party. I've been to last month parties at apartments. Like, this is it. We're going in a week, whatever. So let's party and we're gonna get kicked out anyway. So whatever.
Yeah.
But that's not really what I'm saying. What I mean is the parameters for making it gathering at an apartment are infinitely easier than trying to reach to make it a party in an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Because like what Slim said, thin walls, you got neighbors on each and every side of you and up and below you, all that type of stuff. You got cops waiting to you know what I'm saying, to see what's going on. So it's just not conducive to that. So without vilifying myself, because I have put my time in those type of things, like a special pioneer, I will just say that it is important when you're talking about when you see it change to something, for you to check your parameters. Like all of you guys have said, when you walk in, you see the setup first. You know what I'm saying? It's important to do that so that you know where you are. Even what D-Lo said, like if you see the chemistry of this group of brothers here, and you know they don't feel this group of brothers here, you know, 2 whiskeys in, some stuff might come out, some honesty might come out.
Right.
So it really is more to me about checking your parameters when you go in. Like I actually disagree when you said you don't like going somewhere where there is nobody that you know there. I do, because there's no weight involved. There's no apprehension, or there's no, you know that there's no, what's the word I want to use? No slanted emotion towards you because nobody knows you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about, you know, a witness John, but you know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to a witness thing and no one knows you, that's the safest I feel, because I get to grow relationships from there from zero, except for whoever, you know, is a conduit to get there.
Yeah.
So I actually feel better that way than knowing everybody.
For sure.
So I just want to throw that out there.
I mean, I don't think about like knowing. I don't need to know everybody at the joint. Just
Nah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like
a reliable connection to where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know.
That's why I asked you how deep you rolled. If you rolling 8 deep and you got two in there, oh, we good. We can make a decision together that won't affect my going out situation. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going out. You know, you put your smack down on your, you know, whatever, and you're going out. So I'm still in going out mode, whether we stay there or not.
Yeah.
You could be going out at IHOP, like chilling and balling out and having, right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it could be, if it's a whack party, it's the dopest IHOP meal ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I also think like you know, like your conscience tells you when you walk into a situation, kinda like whether you should stay or not. Cause I mean, like I've been to large gatherings, right, where brothers done rented out like a venue, a straight up venue, like a club or something, and they threw a party there. But you know, I know these guys, I know how to get down. I don't know a lot of the friends that are at the party, but I know these guys, I know how to get down, I know how to set things up. So, you know, I go in there and I already know, you know, it's a couple elders in there, you know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna go sideways, you know. We can go in here.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, my bad. We can go in here and have a good time. But almost every time that I've been in a situation where I had to leave a party, like, you know, or a gathering, like it wasn't always a party. Sometimes it was a small gathering. But every time that I had to leave, I almost instantly knew when I walked through. I like tried to give it a chance for some reason. But when I walked through the door, within like the first 30 seconds of being there, my conscience telling me, bro, walk out, you know. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you try to prolong it. Well, I came out. I'm not trying to ruin my night, you know. And I'm there, and I'm there for 10, 15 minutes longer than I need to be there. You know what I'm saying? So,
the intuition that I'm kind of referring to, all right, so we're all musicians here, right? We're all musically inclined. So it's like taking someone on a date. No. It's like going to a spot, right? And you see a band for me and Danny, or not for everybody. What I'm talking about, we're all musically inclined. So like, or for the DJs, you hear somebody spinning, even the way that their conduits to get to the next song, whatever, their mix, I don't know the words, whatever, but they're, you know what I'm saying? Like how their ideas are flowing. Yeah. You're hearing what this vibe is going to be like. Mm-hmm. And that's what we all do when we walk into a place. We're examining the vibe. It's all about literally vibrations. Like you can feel, being that you're musically inclined, you can feel the vibrations of things. I don't mean to get all crazy and Erykah Badu with it, but like you can feel like, I don't like, it's not landing with me right where we're at right now. And that is the intuition that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like you could walk in and be like, the spirit of this room ain't right. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, and
because you know, we experienced in my experience that I was relating, we immediately felt that. You know what I mean? Something about the room is like kind of off-putting, where it's like, you know what I mean? It's like you said, it's unexplainable until you're in it, and then it's like, yeah, I don't. It's a different vibe. It's a different vibe from walking into a room and everybody goes, "Hey, how are you? What's your name?" You know what I mean? Trying to really get to know you, as opposed to everybody kind of look up to see who it was, look back down to what they were doing. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you weren't concerned that Wayne was cussing. You were concerned that who thought this was cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And now who put the person in charge of thinking that this is cool? See how like it's like, and then that's where you start building off of that idea. Like AMA was talking like, yo, he walked in and it was, you know, it started compounding on itself. Like, yo, why is this person throwing up? Who was watching him? Who got his back? Because if he was my friend, he wouldn't have had 18 Jack and Cokes before he went up in there or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's
if you start hearing those conversations about, oh, who's gonna take him home? Oh, can you drive? Can you guys drive? Then that's already where you know you're like, oh, yeah.
But like, who had it? Like, if you squad now, like Chris is talking about, I feel so comfortable when I'm squatting now, because even if the party is whack or the people there are corny or whatever, or they're off the hook, I'm still surrounded in my little nucleus with my people.
Yep.
So I feel where y'all are coming from, but like, especially a big party, and I'm from the generation of like huge Myrtle Beach, whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you're rolling with a tight clique, then it's like you're kind of internalized inside of the big event. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I respect Squad Now because y'all make a decision and you stand by that. And it's cool. It's cool.
That's
Absolutely.
a fantastic point, Cooley, man, and a great segue to our next point. Now, welcome back, everyone.
Good stuff.
So, to get into our next topic, man, a big part of most of our lives pre-COVID-19 was taking your vacation. As witnesses, we work hard at our secular jobs, and then we go to the Kingdom Hall and we work hard there, and we pound the pavement in the ministry and we work even harder there. So when we get a little minute to take a little time and relax, it's always the greatest thing in the world. But now that COVID-19 hit, you know, the way that people vacation has changed, and safe vacationing altogether has changed, man. So let's take a trip down memory lane, man. Let's talk about vacations and some of your favorite vacations, some of your least favorite vacations. Let's just talk about some of those moments where you got a chance to kick back and chill with your peoples.
I'll go. So we had a trip with our whole family, plus one of our family friends that we've known forever. My parents knew him when he was little, and he came with us. And then we had another close family friends with us as well. And we all went to Costa Rica. We were all in this big house and everything, and got to go on like different wilderness trips, and house had a pool, and it was by the beach. And so that was probably one of the best ever. It was nice.
Dope. That was a nice one. Anybody else? I got a couple.
My folks, this is just one, but for a couple years stretch, my folks used to rent a timeshare down in Florida, and they're in Jersey, so you know what I'm saying? Like, they would fly down, them and the extended family, so it was like maybe 15 of us, and rent a timeshare, the kind with the net, little house over top of the pool, you know, the bug net or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't get the straight ravage of the, you know what I'm saying, Florida bugs. And we would chill there. And I would literally bring my little my MPC 1000 down there and make beats and stuff in the room, like at night or whatever. But it was cool to hang out. We went to Universal Studios, stuff like that. But I talked to a lot of friends who live in the Orlando area, and it's straight ghost because nobody goes to Disney World or whatever no more or whatever. So there is a huge difference, but I always cherish that type of thing with my folks.
I think those are the best type of vacations, man. It's the ones like when I think back on like my most favorite vacations are the ones where we didn't do anything, like nothing was really planned. It was just chilling, cooking and eating, and you know, just staying at wherever we were staying at. You know, like when we did the trip to myself, Streets and Slim went to Asheville. Where we at?
Talk about it. Asheville.
Yeah. With the snow.
Nice.
Oh, you talking about the snow? I thought you was talking about pre.
Nah, we not talking about that. No, we not talking about that terrible vacation.
Right now.
Hold on. We gotta get some more music going. The impresario. You know, his sound connecting right now. Sound is connecting right now. We're gonna wait until the sound connects so we can welcome this man properly. You know,
from the hotel room.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Let's welcome to the corner once again the CEO.
Always fashionably late.
You know what I'm saying? Mr. DJ Relevant.
Or maybe tonight just late.
AKA
AMA. Some of us are still Jehovah's Witnesses, okay?
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
Some of us have responsibilities, you know. We can't open the Bible, you know. We have to participate, you know. Now if this was a hose, you was burning a burning building, I'm with you, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, introduction.
Talk about it.
What's up, Slim? AMA, you good, brother?
Yeah, man.
Good to see you. What's up, Cooley?
what up, man?
Good to see you.
How are you?
Streets the GOAT. Dang, Streets looking like Big Papa.
Hey man, I you know what? I had a talk tonight, and I put the green screen up for my talk. So I'm like, man, I'm not about to waste this green screen.
Why he look like he training for a chess match?
You be training for those though?
Yeah, looking like Bobby Fischer in the making.
Rook to Bishop 5.
Checkers.
Rook to Bishop 5. I don't even know if that's a real position.
It is.
No, hey, Chris, don't pretend like you don't know.
Right,
I don't even know, son.
He don't.
I be watching movies. I be watching movies.
Nah,
Long
Good to
as
see
you
y'all.
ain't between certain numbers, you good.
Yeah.
So we chopping it up now about vacations, Relevant. But we actually just got started on this topic. So, right now, a lot of people, we really not taking vacations like that because of the COVID. So we just walking through memory lane, man, on some of our best and worst vacations. And, fortunately enough, my best and worst vacation was with DJ Slim and DJ AMA. And they was about to get their wires crossed. One started talking about the best time, and the other one started talking about the worst time. That trash vacation we went on to Savannah. Yeah. Oh, that was an awful.
It was that bad?
It was bad, son. It was bad.
It was bad. We had fun, but
but it was trash. It was a trash vacation. So I tell you. So Slim got this is single days. So wives don't get offended. Single days. So Slim was introduced to a sister down in Savannah. We're gonna call her Sony. We're gonna call her Sony. And so him and her talked for a little while or whatever, and she started wondering. She was like, "When you gonna come down?" And so Slim was like, "If I come down, I'm bringing my man. You got any friends?" So she's like, "Yeah, I got a homegirl." So me and Slim on three-way with the girl. She put her homegirl on, the four of us on the phone talking. Then me and the homegirl go off on another conversation. So I'm talking to the homegirl, so we getting ready to go.
What's her name? Xbox? What was her name?
Yeah,
Xbox?
Xbox. We got Xbox and Sony.
PlayStation, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we got Xbox and Sony. So we go down to Savannah to see these two girls. And, number one, the one that I got put on was not my type. We'll say that. She was not my type.
That was so delicate.
She was not my type. We not gonna go there on the corner. At least not on the main episode. On the bonus episode, we might go there. But she was not my type, right? And so me and Slim had never been to Savannah before, right? So we get there and we're like, all right, so show us some stuff. Like, show us the city. They wanted to hang out. Like, what we didn't know at the time was they were just broke. They wanted to hang out at our hotel room. They wanted to go to Applebee's, which we can go to here in Atlanta. And I think we went to the meeting. We went to the meeting without them. we went to Applebee's and we hung out at our hotel room. And so on the drive back, me and Slim were driving back, and I told Slim, I will never go to Savannah with you again, right? So that was established. But after we got back to Atlanta, Slim and this young lady, they kept talking, right? So it's maybe about 6 months later, Slim like, yo, we going to Savannah. And I And your boy said, nah, man, me and you, we going to Savannah. AMA coming too. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, we not going to Savannah, dog. And he like, yo, look, I talked to old girl. I told her about how we felt about the last visit and how, you know, and how the last visit wasn't that great and how we'd like to actually see. She actually does this weekend down there where everybody go hang out at the Riverwalk and, you know, you get to see the local sites and everything is cool, right? So I said, Slim, if I go down to Savannah with you this time and it's the same way, we're not friends anymore.
If I have to roll with the GameStop crew again, I mean,
yo, so
the GameStop crew.
We go back to Savannah, right? And the other thing about the girl, so the girl that Slim was talking to, she was very pretty, but she had a terrible attitude. I guess Slim put up with her because she was pretty, but she was not a nice person to be around. So we get down there. She meets us at the mall. She's there for Slim, but she started flirting with AMA. Like, so that's flag number one. She starts openly flirting with AMA at the mall, and then she starts throwing a little flirts towards me. And I'm like, you know, we get back to the hotel. I'm like, Slim, this girl bad news bears. We should abandon this whole situation and just do our own thing. And Slim was like, well, let's just see how tonight is. So the girl keeps calling us because we're supposed to meet at this spot in Savannah called River Street, right? So the girl keeps calling us like, are y'all there yet? Like, nah, we're going to leave when y'all leave. Are y'all there yet? Nah, we're going to leave when y'all leave. She calls us next. Where y'all at? We at the hotel. We waiting to leave when y'all at. Oh, we down here waiting on y'all. So I'm just like, pass me a bottle. I'm going to start drinking. So I just started drinking at that point. I'm like, I don't care what happens for the rest of the night. I started drinking. So we pull up at the River Street. The vibes are terrible at River Street.
Well, excuse me, when you met them, were you the one throwing up behind in the chair?
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I'm just
timelining it. Go ahead.
No, he didn't have to leave the party.
Nah, it was actually me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So we get to like the River Street restaurant. You know, we go into the restaurant. Everybody in there looks like a good Christian, except for the girl that invited us. She got on like a spandex bodysuit. Mm-hmm. Everybody else looking like they belong to Jehovah except for her, and she coordinated the event. You know, so that's number one. So at this point, so I've started to drink Hennessy, right? So I've started drinking Hennessy, and so we get there, and AMA says, "Yo, Streets, let's go get a vodka and Red Bull at the bar." I said, "Okay, sure." So we go to the bar, we get a vodka and Red Bull, we have our drink, and the sister's still cutting up. She out there acting crazy. And so we're like, you know what, we're done with the night. Let's go back to the hotel room. Where y'all going? To the hotel room. Okay, we coming too. So they come back to our hotel room. They loud in the hotel room. And eventually I got to kick them out. Kick them out the hotel room. And this just becomes a routine that week. Like, every time we meet up with them during that week, there's some sort of friction, and I got to kick them out of our hotel room. Like, it was the absolute worst vacation that I've ever had because of the company that we had. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's why me and Slim aren't friends to this day, because he took me on another terrible vacation.
I'm gonna be honest with you. A couple weeks ago, we talked about how what would we tell our now that we've grown up, what would we tell our younger self? I would probably tell myself to avoid that whole trip altogether. I love the location. That trip was trash, and I gotta wear that. It kind of sucks, but yeah, that's why me and Chris don't. We
ain't friends no more because of
that's
that
wild,
trip.
man. Like,
I didn't want to be in Atlanta no more.
Super thorough. I remember all that stuff that you was talking about, but what I remember was the was I guess our time together, three of us.
Yeah. That was the most memorable thing.
Yeah, when we was just
Slow
cutting
walks.
up, we was being fools. I remember that. I remember none of that stuff till you just said it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that did happen. Oh yeah, that did happen.
I blanked all of that out.
What happened in Savannah stayed in Savannah. You know?
Man,
Right.
It didn't even stay in Savannah. I forgot the day of. It was like, how about us? Huh?
Yeah.
I remember the pictures that we took though. That was fly. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had a blast. Oh man. You know
Since
what I mean?
then, we have returned to Savannah and had a good time though. So
I was gonna say because y'all didn't get the full Savannah experience. Like, 'cause Savannah is sick. You just didn't have the right people there.
yeah, we went back with the right people next time.
I don't
and it
even
was
remember
nice.
that attitude neither. I don't remember it.
The attitude was awful, and remember, we'll talk about why the attitude was awful.
Well, did y'all meet Nintendo when y'all went back there, or who did you meet when?
No, we ain't meet the rest of the crew like that.
Nah, we met Big Body Sega Genesis.
A home system.
A whole system, fam.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Man.
But
What about-
Old
what about
Sony was still hollering at Keith. So
Oh yeah.
got anything to say?
She was
The
trying to
what
make a
now?
love connection.
Yeah.
Who was?
She was trying to make you the main console.
I missed all of that. If that was right there.
You know what? She seen Keith and she said, "Ooh, the tall version."
He kind of pretty too. He kind of pretty.
No, I gotta be pretty. No, man, I don't remember none of that.
What about good vacations though, man? So we off that. We off them trash vacations. Anybody got some good vacations they want to talk about?
Yeah, like I said, man, our good vacations is the do nothings. When we went to Asheville, that was a good one. The get there was, you know what? That's something I do realize. Like, I'll have my best vacations start off horrible. So like Asheville started off pretty, it was choppy. It was a little rough. We had to hike through the snow for 1.5 miles, carrying luggage and get there and frostbitten. You know what I mean? But after that, we was cooking burgers at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
burgers with the cheese, with the fried egg on top. It was marvelous. It was
Yo,
beautiful.
we need to get all the pictures from that event and literally make like a corner, just kind of getting everybody that was on that trip and literally dissecting everything that was going through. Because that trip was fun. Like he said, man, it started off like crazy. We thought we was gonna be stranded.
Got stuck in the snow with a
ton of snow.
Vehicles,
it was everywhere, man. It was it was both terrifying and yet somehow heroic at the same time. It makes no sense, but if we show you the pictures and if you were there, you would have a great concept of what went down.
Yo, so AMA, this is the reason why AMA bought a truck with 4-wheel drive. Like he wanted to throw his truck away after that trip. Because we tried to go up a hill with some snow and that 2-wheel drive was not happening. It was like, we're going back down the hill.
I think I just got that truck. I had it for like, I don't know, maybe a month or so. And when we was at the dealership, dude showed me the trucks or whatever. And he was like, yeah, you get one 4-wheel drive or you get this one, da-da-da. I was like, man, I ain't never gonna need no 4-wheel drive. It's Georgia. I ain't going off-roading. Like, what you talking about? A month later, we needed 4-wheel drive.
It was tough, too.
Immediately after that joint, after trying to go up that hill, he was like, I'm taking this truck back.
Yep. He said it in his heart. He said it in his heart when we wasn't able to make it up at the top.
Yeah.
He tried a few more times.
Said, not
you can see it all in his face.
Yeah, man.
What about you, Relevant? What's some good vacation experiences you had, my brother?
Every trip to Atlanta.
I think it would have to be I think after my mom died, I took my dad. We went back to New York, stayed at my aunt's house, and we just stayed in New York for 2 weeks. We just literally walked Manhattan like every day. I don't know why he wanted to walk everywhere. We could take the sub, and then we went to he always wanted to see the new Met Stadium, so we went there. He wanted nosebleed seats. I don't do nosebleed. That's a waste of money.
City Field, right?
Yep, you already know. So I got him. I treated him to. I got pictures. Actually, it's funny. It's been a couple of years.
Yep, I live right up the street from it.
2018, we did this.
I live right up the street from it.
No way.
Yeah, Queens.
Yeah, but the goal was to go to he's never seen the new Yankees stadium. I've been there many times. Every time we go, the Yankees are never in town, so we have to go to the Mets. So it's not like we like the Mets. It's just because the Mets were super disrespectful.
Insert default team here.
Right, but their drip is amazing. I ain't gonna lie, I love their colors. But anyway, we sat. I got us some seats right behind the dugout, so that was pretty cool for him. But yeah, I would say that's one of my best trips.
Yeah, I think the trip is not necessarily where you go or what you do, is who you with. That makes a trip what it is. You know, if you're with people that you feel comfortable with, you know, it don't matter what you do. I mean, I had a great time. All of us, when Slim bought his house in Tennessee, you know, the whole gang converged on his crib. And that was a great weekend. It was, you know, it's a lot of arguing with our wives because we started acting like third graders again.
You know what's funny about that? You mentioning that is that I blur that trip to Tennessee and the trip we did to Asheville together because I think it was the same. Yeah, it was the same crowd, and we were just the same dynamic both times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've been there before. We've been here.
Yeah.
Some about us, when we get together, we go back to the third grade.
Yeah.
What up, D-Lo?
Chris, speaking of trips, how do you remember that bus trip?
Son,
I don't know if I remember it the same way you do.
Yo, so that bus trip was so interesting. So this is a bus trip. Me and D-Lo, I met him because we were in the same congregation. And our congregation planned a bus trip to Bethel, right? So this is when you go on trips like this, to me, it really helps me appreciate the scriptures, because you get to see how the Friends in Jehovah's organization are also very similar to the Israelites sometimes. Because there was a whole lot of complaining, like we weren't going to the house of God. Like people, like, it, number one, kudos to the Friends that planned the trip. It was amazing. They planned it so that we weren't just taking a bus trip to Bethel. They had like stops in like really nice cities. Like we stopped in Baltimore, Maryland, and had lunch in Baltimore. Like some place that sold like fresh seafood. We had lunch in we had lunch in Charlotte on the trip. We stopped at Philly, had authentic Philly cheesesteak sandwiches.
Don't say cheesesteak sandwiches. Don't say that.
My bad.
Just Philly cheesesteaks. Yep.
Just cheesesteaks. All right, so we had authentic.
Tell them, Slim. Come on, man.
Hey man, I got to pull up at Ishkabibbles. I was in the spot.
Understood. I'm sorry.
It
threw me off. I'm like, you had cheesesteaks and sandwiches, or cheesesteaks?
My bad.
Which one?
So you know,
those were fire though.
Yeah, we got to stop in the nation's capital. Like it wasn't just a Bethel trip; it was like a trip. Yeah. So like there were some things like the bus was a little uncomfortable.
A little.
Well, I'm just appreciative of going on the trip. You know.
That's true, but that's one where I could say that was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, the stretch on the trip was really long.
How many of you were there? Like 50 or like 100 or like how many?
Like 50.
One
like
bus?
50. It was one bus, like 50 people. Okay. So every seat was taken. It was uncomfortable trying to sleep on the bus, but like just it was a whole lot of problems that certain people created, that it was just kind of like, it was like, okay, you kind of whack, you know, for creating these issues. Like, for instance, there's like a lodge in New York, in upstate New York. I'm forgetting exactly where it is. And the lodge is owned by is owned by some friends, right? And a lot of times what happens is Bethel commuters will come and stay at this lodge long term. And then...
Is it in Fishkill?
I'm not sure. I forgot.
This was How long ago was this though? This was.
Xavier was 3, so like 5 years ago. He was like 2 or 3. So, yeah, we're there, man, and so we pull up to the lodge, and there's not enough spaces for everybody to stay at the lodge. So some of us have to stay in a hotel. So our accommodations were at the hotel because we, didn't get to stay at the lodge. So some of the friends, these bougie friends, we got there and they got off the bus, went in, and I think 20 people went in and 6 people came out. They refused to stay there. They're like, we only seen one bathroom. We don't like how the rooms look. Ain't no TVs in the room. We only staying here for one night. You know what I'm saying? And we're getting here at night. We're literally coming to get them in the morning. And the thing about this lodge was that the friends cooked them breakfast in the morning. So these friends nah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We not going. We not staying here. They got back on the bus and said, we just gonna get a room at the hotel that y'all going to. So, those of us that were prearranged to stay at the hotel, we went in the hotel. We had no problems. They had to sit out there in the lobby waiting for them to get hotel rooms ready because it's a Saturday. They're not expecting them. It's pretty much full. So they had to go through way more drama than if they had stayed at the lodge, right? So when we go to pick the friends up from the lodge in the morning, they happier than we are. Oh man, it was great. We did the text and morning worship together. They cooked us breakfast. We had a huge breakfast. We had that hotel continental breakfast. So, couple Pop-Tarts, some orange juice. You know what I'm saying? They cooked them a big breakfast. You know what I'm saying? They cooked them a big breakfast. They everything was so nice, man.
All because you complaining about the manna. That's what you get.
Exactly.
So remember, not remember, I won't do that because that'll date the show. But we have talked previously about how I worked for a band that was very lucrative or whatever, expensive. And so I've traveled a whole lot in a whole lot of hotels and a whole lot of places. And one of the worst experiences I've had as a musician has been when a wedding planner is somebody's cousin or somebody's sister or somebody's brother. They don't know. Okay, now the DJs understand me on this. They have no idea what's going on. They've never thrown a wedding before, but trust me, because I'm your sister and I love you. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So the wedding becomes a disaster and they're waiting for the vendors, which is the musicians, the DJs, whatever, to save the wedding, right? So all of a sudden, they're dependent on this thing. But if you'd have got somebody who was experienced and knew where to go, because there are those people, and what to do, and the witnesses will never have something like that. When you come from Atlanta all the way up to New York, there's always somebody that knows exactly what to do and exactly what not to do. And when those friends decide to buck and not do it, they're gonna pay a price. They're gonna pay a price.
Yeah, they certainly did. They did, man.
I just as an example, I'm from Trenton, New Jersey, right? So I'm closer to Philly. I'm 30 minutes from Philly and an hour from New York. That's how I grew up. And New Jersey Transit was a conduit for both of those places. So we used my mother, and at the time I was living with my folks, and we were assigned to Philadelphia, to Temple University for our circuit assembly. So we would go there and they were like, do not go outside and go to Popeyes and go to a Burger King next door and all that stuff. And you're basically feeding the vendors that have nothing to do with what we're doing.
Yeah.
We decided we're not going to use the vendors. Bring your lunch with you. Every day, there'd be a line out that mug. You know what I'm saying? Folks, I'm not going to say witnesses, but it was a line out that mug. So I had left to move to Atlanta in those years, 2005, 2006. 2007, my mother was like, we got to drive 3 hours into the middle of Pennsylvania to go to where the region is at. It wasn't called regional, it was a district.
Sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
you got to pay a 3-hour price, thousands of you, because of what a couple hundred people did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they thought they knew better. When if you could just follow direction and ate your fried chicken with the bread sticking to it, you'd have been fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And full. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because what happens is those vendors can't be in the Coliseum like they usually are.
Yeah.
So, you know.
We shut all that down. Whenever we get a venue, we shut all that down because it's more expensive when they open their thingies.
Yeah. So, you know, then they start asking, like, you know, when we start going to them, then the vendors start asking, yo, can we need to get in there? You know, and the Coliseums, they don't want to turn them down because that's money, you know, so.
$10 hot dogs, homie. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, yeah.
Yeah, man.
And the thing is that business-wise, it's smart. Like, why would I cut myself off from potential business from thousands of people? But that's why we get the venues, because we are supposed to follow the direction. And something as small as that will ruin an experience for you.
Well,
like, this is the thing about that. You could have, all right, so on that bus, right? You have friends, I'm sure, that came back to Atlanta with this wonderful, incredible experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had, on the same bus, same trip, some people that were like, I'm never doing this again. This was whack.
Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
You wish you had the leeks and the onions, but you were getting beat down while you had the leeks and onions. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, what are you talking about? So, yeah. But that also goes with the rookie situation. Like, if you're not used to traveling, if you're not used to relying on, I'm not going to say Jehovah, I'm going to say the provided parameter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is Jehovah, but what I'm saying is, if you're not willing to trust who knows, who's been instructed what to do, then you're going to lose.
Again, like, the meat of that trip was awesome. All the stops were great. The Bethel stops were like one of a kind. They had people ready to go, like, to show you. It was the getting there and to each spot that was the.
They're ready. They're seasoned. They know what to do. They know what to do. Yeah.
So I had like a roommate the whole time. So I was with him like 24/7.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because at the end of the trip, I was saving him from being like, I know the kid is kicking your seat. Don't do anything. I could just see him steaming. Like, he was just like, I was like, don't pull the trigger. I was like, just constantly kicking the back of his seat. And I was like, I can see you fuming. I was like, don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this, and I gotta cut out that made me think of one other trip that I had that was like super awesome. And it kind of talks about what we talked about earlier. Cool was talking about when you go somewhere and you don't really know everybody. Anyway, I went to it was an unassigned territory trip that my cousin had put together over in Alabama. And like I said, it was most of the friends were kind of up from their area in Virginia, and it came down like some other friends from the neighboring states or whatever. But when I tell y'all, that was like some of the most fun we had. Not only just like in the territory, like territory was like, it was just awesome. Like, everybody we went to was trying to start a Bible study. It was amazing. But like, just at the house, everybody put in, and we rented this house like off this lake, and you know, the house was so big, but everybody always still just kind of congregated together. And like I said, man, it was just amazing. That was one of, another top 5 trips or whatever been on. And again, we weren't really doing anything outside of service. We were just chilling at the house, but had a great time, man.
Yeah, most of the time.
Like it's the people you with.
Yeah.
It ain't necessarily what you doing.
Yeah. You know what else? You can never go wrong with centering your trip around Jehovah. You know what I'm saying? A couple of my favorite trips, being able to go to an international in Indonesia, being able to work unassigned territory, a lot of those were like top 5 trips, man, and centered on doing Jehovah's work, man. So great way to round out this conversation and segue into the next one. Welcome back, everybody. So we're gonna switch gears here, man, to a little spiritual walk down memory lane, man. We're living in historic times right now, right? never before in history has there been a time like this time that we're in right now. But in order to get to this time, there's been a lot of changes, right? So there's been changes here, there, and everywhere. This chair is turning and turning and turning. So what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen in the organization in your lifetime that you've appreciated and have culminated up to this point?
I think there's one huge thing, and that's, I mean, JW.org, that's ginormous. If you think about the amount of languages that things are translated in, how good the website is just as a website, like people in general are just impressed with the way the website is run. Like it went from not really technology, technology was in the background, and then it was like into the forefront. Now we got cards that we hand out. Check out the website. Check out, and it's amazing. It's really something to see.
I'm a taste older. I'm not old enough to say that I'm old, but if any of y'all remember when we first got our first website, in comparison to what, like D'Lo said, in comparison to JW right now, bro, it was phenomenal. I remember back in the day, I was kind of just a little bit embarrassed to look at that website because it didn't have any information. It was like, what is this? It was terrible. Wasn't no watchtowers, wasn't no pictures, bunch of words everywhere. It wasn't good to look at. It was horrible. But like D'Lo said, the change from that. To piggyback a little bit on what he said.
The comments of DJ Slim are not affiliated with the comments associated with the corner.
Jesus hears you.
On the corner.
Jesus hears you, right?
I had to drop that disclaimer.
Jesus can hear you right now. Just let you know. Just let you know.
He revamped that. That's why he revamped the whole website, because that website.
Hey, there you go. That's right.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Y'all can't survive Armageddon with a website like that. That ain't.
He did not say that.
You need better tools. Yeah,
y'all need better tools.
But check it though. Like, think about how conducive it was the moment COVID or our COVID protocols kicked in. Like, we were prepared literally for something that's never happened. Well, no, Spanish flu, whatever. But like, you know what I mean? Like with this technology that we have now, we were literally prepared to be functional during a time when no one imagined it would be like this.
Yeah. It's like one of those
Holy Spirit, man.
It's one of those things where, as you're growing up in the truth, right, and you're getting to know Jehovah, you start to build a record of faith, right? You come through a situation and you look back at it and you say, man, Jehovah really brought me through that, right? And it keeps happening. You go through your life, and the more that it happens, the stronger and the closer you get to Jehovah, man. So when COVID-19 broke and we had digital publications, we had JW.org for updates, we had JW broadcasting for the governing body to send us updates every month. That within itself helped to build within me, and I think everybody else, man, that's just a huge one. If you look back, we're the only ones that were prepared, man. And we're prepared early too. Like before any actual governmental authority said, hey, you guys need to quarantine and shelter in place. Yep. The meetings closed. The branch told us what to do. They gave us our direction. And if you followed that direction, man, you saw how important, how imperative it was to follow that direction, man. So that's one of those like that's one of those changes, man, that really had given. Also, here's a change that you really can appreciate now in COVID-19.
Yeah.
Imagine we still had the book studies and you had to be on Zoom 3 nights a week.
Let me ask you. I gotta be on Zoom already for my work all the time with different sets of kids all the time on different Zoom accounts. I have to switch up the Zoom accounts to get here. Oh, my bad. My personal meeting account changed. I have to text you this code, this whatever. Already with the meetings, it's tough to have 3 nights of meetings like that too. That would be, that's rough.
Now let me ask you this. Speaking of changes and things like that, are those big gray bars behind you energy bars? Because I see them going down the whole time. I'm just asking.
Which one? You talking about behind me?
Yeah, the entertainment, the one you're pointing at right now.
It's the paperwork logo, Influent Entertainment, behind me.
Oh, okay. I just want to. I'm kind of like, I was around when we stopped collecting for the magazines. Like, it was 25 cents. It might have been up to 35.50, right around 35.50, right around 35.50 when they stopped. But I remember when they announced, like, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to rely on Jehovah to float this thing.
Yeah.
And that John has only increased.
Exactly. Just the effective decisions that were made, man. Oh, I'm sorry, you were still going.
And the only other thing I wanted to talk about, because I talked to somebody about this, MEPS. Remember MEPS? I definitely don't use it anymore, but the multi-language whatever program thing. There were worldly corporations or other corporations. I'm not gonna say worldly because everybody else is.
Yeah.
But like, they were wondering how we were able to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel where you're coming from. Like, we progress incredibly, but we've literally progressed incredibly for a very long time.
Yeah. I tell you what, man. I foresee. I'm sorry, man. I cut you off again.
Nah, I mean, even the selling at Bethel. Remember, we sold Brooklyn, Bethel. Mm-hmm. That was very lucrative for what we were doing because we were able to build an entire, I'm going to say community, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
From the investment that we made in Brooklyn, Bethel. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's whole, man, come on, man. Come on. Y'all ain't got to say it out loud.
But at the same, but to piggyback on what you were saying, we went from being accessible from a busy street, from people bumping into you and being like, oh, my bad, I didn't see you there, to moving over to where, like, this is literally like how people in a cul-de-sac feel. Like, you're only coming down here for one thing. Like, I forgot where I was going. Well, okay, turn around. What you still coming for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you on Kingdom Drive. You driving on Kingdom Drive, and you wonder what you do. Well, come on, man.
How can we help you? Yeah, we lost.
We gonna have the chair. We gonna have the chairs escort you off the premises.
Yeah,
and they ain't nice with it.
The car.
they ain't nice with it either. They ain't nice with it.
Put this JW t-shirt on, or you got to go, bro. Yeah, come on.
For sure, man. One thing, like, I haven't really been like hung up or attached to anything, you know, as far as making it hard for me to change up and keep moving with the chariot. But I think the hardest adjustment that I had to make was when they took away book studies, because I was, you know, extremely close to my book study group. You know what I'm saying? It was easier to comment in small groups, and of course, goodie night, son. You know what I'm saying? One night a month, bring your snacks. And you always got that sister that don't know what a snack is. So she bringing whole ribs and fried chicken.
Cake. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? to the joint. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that was hard to move on from. But then, you know, we find out the wisdom. You know, they're not just looking at us in the United States. They're looking at brothers in developing countries that have to drive an hour to make it to the meeting. So now that they don't have to go to 2 meetings, that saves them a whole lot on finances. And, you know, brothers, you know, them cutting down the talks from 30-minute talks to 45-minute talks, right? From 45 to 30 minutes. You know, that was done on a global scale because there are some brothers that have to give a talk every week because of the congregation that they're in. And it takes, literally, now that I've given a public talk, it takes an hour for every single minute. Every minute that you develop a talk takes an hour of preparation. That is literal. Like when they said it, on the broadcast, I was like, yeah, okay, maybe. And then I started developing a talk, and I realized that they were absolutely right. I probably spent about 30 hours getting that talk together.
Now, let me ask you a question, because I haven't given a public talk. I have the privilege of having given public talk yet. Now, how long did it take for you to create that polka dot chair that you're sitting in? Because I'm just wondering, like, was it Kwame, or was it like
this polka dot chair that I'm sitting in, sir? Mm-hmm. It took me.
Is it CG? It doesn't even
about
exist?
3 minutes to just bring it in my house and sit it here. I got it for free.
Nice.
It's the best chair.
85 South got some great chairs on it.
Sure do. Just pick that joint up, brought it here, sat it here, and your boy is comfortable.
You're riding all the way
cracks.
I
am. That's right. That's right. That's how you diffuse it, baby.
Ruined everything. Yeah.
I sure did. I
feel kind of horrible, because when I think about it, I felt like as a child, maybe it was just my rebellious side, just kind of wilding out. Because when you think about it, the assemblies, like looking back on everything that we went through and some of the changes, like Chris said, the talks used to be an hour. Sometimes it was like an hour and a half. Going through, I'm talking about countless amount of information. You just sitting there 3 hours, no pictures. And it's like, oh my goodness. And my mom was just, as a single parent mom, and you're the only one trying to give your kids spiritual food, and your kids is just, but then again, it was just like, look at this, you know what I mean? Then on Mondays or Tuesday night meetings, it depends on whenever your meeting nights were, but to whip out like books and books and books that you just had to have. You had to have the Blue Book, which is the All Scriptures Inspired book. You had to have the Counsel book. You had to have, like, it was so many books that it felt like a social studies class or something. Like you had to have.
I'm sorry, I gotta tell you this, because this is a payoff of that. My father was married to my mother for 36 years and watched her raise 4 kids in the truth.
Wow.
And when we all left the house and stayed in the truth without her regulating, he was like, yo, what is going on? And he started studying. And my father's now a ministerial servant. He's a billion, but he's a ministerial servant. Like, and giving talks and doing his thing in his 70s, you know what I'm saying? It took 40 plus years of my mother holding 4 kids down. But the payoff is not only what Jehovah does for you, but there are people watching that witness. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you. Yo, dude, I went through exactly the same thing.
Absolutely. It was, and when you think about it, it was far less, not to say, again, this is the truth. I love being in the truth. Sure. I've never doubted that once. But at the same time, I noticed that the message changed. It went from telling us what you should do. Don't do this, don't do that, make sure you do this, to love. You know what I mean? Like they really just expounded on the love. Well, let us show you how love acts, love behaves. You know what I mean? Let's give you what Jesus did. Let's get some actors that show you what Jesus did. You know what I mean? Like they have proven time again. Caleb and Sophia, you talking about those arrows that are aimed right at your heart. It's just like, wow, it is.
Bro, Caleb and Sophia gets you in your... Bro, Caleb and Sophia, as grown people, gets you in your feelings. You're like, dang, I should have done better about that.
Why do I talk to my son now with a Spanish accent?
Yeah.
He do something wrong. Xavier.
Jehovah wants us to understand.
Jehovah wants us.
Did you have a bad day? Did you have a bad day?
Yo, that dad is incredible.
Your grandson got a situation. Your grandson got a situation.
You disrespecting.
No, you are. You got just candy bars and stuff behind there. Okay,
you disrespecting. All right,
good job.
I was gonna say too.
I'm here for you.
I appreciate that.
I was gonna say too, like if you look at, like we already spoke on like JW.org, but if you look at the music and the media too, that's a big change. The meetings used to be you would hear a piano background and that's it. They threw a snare drum in there sometimes. They had those songs that were like the march.
Doing a war song.
They threw a snare drum in there sometimes. Maybe like 2 songs. That's it.
255 songs, all of them on piano. I want to say maybe 256, all of them on piano. But yeah, talented piano. But come on, man.
And then I remember that when those like the expanded songs came out, we had the new Kingdom Melodies. When I heard a bass line for the first time, I looked over to my mom. I was like, "Did you hear that?" And she goes, "What?" And I was like, "There's a bass line." I was like, "There's a bass line." I was like, I literally said that 3 times. I was like, "There's a bass line." I was like, "Are those shakers?" I was like, "Oh my God, they're shakers! They're shakers!"
Yo, son, why does some of these original songs slap? Like like I be cha-cha to step on over. You got to step on over. You know what I'm saying? Just some of them joints grooving. That Somewhere Like You sound like a Luther song.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Someone like you.
You know what I'm saying? I watched my brother and his wife dance to that song, and I can't listen to it no more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a story for the bonus episode. But but I'm talking about like these songs. Like, not only do they reach the heart and touch the heart of Jehovah's organization, but you be grooving a little bit. Like, I can ride out to some of this music. You know what I'm saying? And not just the extra songs. Like, some of my favorite songs are like these huge overtures that are now in the songbook. Like, the Sons of God have been revealed. Like, yo.
Light in a Darkened World.
Light in a Darkened World. Like, those songs hit the soul. You know what I'm saying?
He will call. He will.
I don't want to listen to that song.
Yeah,
that's instant cry. But like,
that joint take the wind.
My parents hear that, cry. That's
it. Take the wind right out of you. Take the wind right out of you.
It's only because it's like a roller coaster ride. Like, you get to that one part and you good, and you know what I mean. You get past it, you be like, "Oh, wasn't that bad?" And then it drops down again and picks back up again.
Nah, man,
no.
it don't even got to do that. I hear "Life's Like a Mist." My allergies.
I already look over. I look this way, and my dad is on the couch, and he's like, and then I look over at my mom. She's already like crying. I was like, we don't need to do all this. I was like,
I need to get out of here.
And then they extend it on the chorus. They shall live. I can't hit that. You can't hit that. That's too high. You got to either hit the mark or cry. It's one or the other. You got to do one or the other.
Yeah,
try doing that while you're crying. Everyone else like,
hey man, I'm about to be like, hey, nah, don't play that at my funeral. Play something happy.
Play it twice.
Play something that slaps. Play something that slaps at my funeral. I don't want all that sad energy.
How does it make you feel?
Yes, play that one. How does it make you feel? So get you. Yo. So real quick. So reaching out, right?
What are you doing?
So reaching out. The song "Reaching Out." Like, have y'all watched like the chorus like sing these songs, right?
Yeah.
Yo, so there. So I laugh every time I watch this video, right? Sometimes, we just put the videos on repeat and we're in the house, we're cleaning, we're doing something. And reaching out, like, there's this one sister, it's an African American sister, and her hair is dyed blonde. And when everybody's singing the song, all like PC, real Christian, like reaching. When they get to reaching out, this is to be reaching out, giving up.
Wait, she got blonde hair or black hair?
I think she's dyed blonde. I think she got blonde.
But there's a sister in there bopping too.
Yo, she out here with the straight groove.
With regular sister hair. And she is bopping. She bopping.
She out here doing the a week ago to.
Yeah.
She out here doing the a week ago to the Kingdom songs. She was so that video bring me so much joy.
Now you know who's conducting that, right? That's playing right there.
Yeah, Splain be out there.
Splain be on it, bro.
Splain be on it. Yo, like the Sons of God reveal when he started.
He was with it.
He was with that thing.
I was like,
I'm gonna give you a real personal experience. So 2014, right? So we had the big evening program in Atlanta. So we had different visitors that time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to watch, you know what I'm saying? We had visitors there. And when Splain came, I was in the R&B band. We were playing literal like R&B secular music, like Happy, like Pharrell, Happy. We played like Temptations and Motown and all that type of stuff. And we're playing everything, and I'm looking up, and because it had a mezzanine, I'm looking up, and I'm like, yo, somebody bopping up there, like hard, like, and it was like, that's Brother Splain. And I was like, oh,
Splain was up there doing it a week ago. About a week ago.
So like the thing is, we don't know where we do know where we're from. Like we know backgrounds and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But like you don't know how somebody feels differently about something else or how they gonna vibe to something else. Mm-hmm. But when you hear genuine, when you feel the genuine vibe, like it kind of goes back to what we were talking about, the parties and the gatherings. When you walk in and you feel a genuine Christian vibe, man, bring me a drink, man. And I know it's not going to be some headbanger, you know, whatever, double, triple, Incredible Hulk or whatever. It's going to be something where we can enjoy ourselves and have a good time.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's all about the approach, man. It's all about how you're going to emotionally approach this thing. And as artists, as all of us are artists, we're gonna feel a little more empathy for these things. And I'm hoping whoever watches this and who may not be artistically inclined can understand that that's where we're coming from. It's like we're inclined towards emotion. You know what I'm saying? Like when D-Lo hears Eric Clapton play guitar, you might hear him you might see him go into a whole different place than with somebody else. Oh, that's cool what he's doing. That's blues, right? But he could hear how he's approaching the strings, everything, like the approach to the whole song, whatever. And that's the thing, as Christians, we need to be willing to be flexible enough to appreciate who we're around and who we're with. Even in this Zoom situation, yo, dude, that's been the biggest jump. And I'm gonna say this because this is what the actual situation is about. Like one of the biggest changes for me has been no physical social activity. I'm used to hugging the older sisters in my hall. I can't do that now because I might kill them. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like health-wise, I might kill you if I try to get comfortable and hug you like I did before. And we all have had to deal with that. And it's been traumatic. It has been traumatic. But the way that we're riding out with this thing, man, and the way that the branch hit us, number 9, when he said, I know y'all sick of wearing these masks. Yo, I'm so tired of wearing these masks. And it's not because I don't want to follow direction. It's just, you have to breathe harder. You know what I'm saying? It changes what you're doing during the day. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're riding this thing out, and it's important that we realize that it's to the benefit of our friends.
Yeah.
To the benefit.
And you just have those moments where it's like I was really struggling after the meeting. We had a whole open, like the lobby just flooded open, and it was just everyone talking at once. And I was like, get me off of here. I can't do this. And then they started the breakout rooms, and it's been great ever since. I was like, yeah, they give you 15 minutes, and you guys could just chop it up about whatever. But before, oh my gosh, it was tough. It was real tough because I can't take that just flutter of noise. That's just, I can't do that either.
Same.
That's think about that now. All of us are like that because we actually listen to music. We know what sound is. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if 80 people are talking? Dude, D-Lo, I cannot stand when everybody gets unmuted. I can't stand it, man.
Yeah,
it was the worst. I honestly, I'm like, I have to leave the room until the breakout session comes in, and then I'll come back in. I just cannot stand that.
It's tough when it's like that because, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, some friends don't know how to yield. In a conversation, you know what I mean? Even something like this, you know what I mean? Where there's multiple people, you got to be able to yield, my G. You can't just keep on going like it's back to the ground. You got to wait.
That is so painful. Like I used to be, before we started breakout rooms, I was number one out of the meeting. Like, you know, when we log on, I would log on early because the brothers that are hosting the meeting are on early. So I get on, we chop it up. That's when I would get my kind of like encouragement. Once we get to like 30 people in the meeting, I'm muting it and I'm turning the volume down until the meeting starts.
That's what I had to learn is if you turn the volume down, I can deal with it. Like my volume of my system down. Mm-hmm. But yo, hearing 80 kids say, "Hey, brother Cooley," is like, yo, I'm flipping this whole table over. Yo, you know what I mean? I'm out.
Yeah. You appreciate the love. Like, I appreciate the fact that the friends love and they're excited to see each other, man. But like you said, we're musicians, man. If something doesn't sound right sonically, it literally irritates us. And so, like, I would be like, I love all y'all from a distance, log out. You know what I'm saying? But man, we had a fantastic episode today, man. Took a nice trip down memory lane, man. We got to talk about parties, man. Make sure we guard against attending gatherings, even now on Zoom. If you feel like a suspect, it probably is. Also vacations, man. You know, a lot of us aren't taking vacations now, but we can sit back and we can think about those vacations. We can even get together with our friends that we went to vacations on Zoom and talk about those fun times that we had, man. And this organization keeps on changing and it's going to change some more. So it's good to look back at how far we've come.
I'm sorry, I got to say one more thing.
Go do that.
Change. Your energy bars behind you, if you can turn them to red or blue, you can kind of like monitor them better.
This has been another episode of The Corner. I am your host, Chris. We were joined by DJ Slim, your boy Io Cooley, the Interrupter, DJ Relevant for like 3 seconds, and DJ Anime is fighting fires right now. Once again, if you want to reach us, influententertainment@gmail.com. That's NFLUENT@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram @InfluentENT. That's NFLUENT. And don't forget to look us up on YouTube. Take care, everybody, and good night. The Corner. The Corner. The Corner. The Corner. The Corner.